All right, so in order to find relative maxes or mins, we're going to use our graphing calculator. The first thing we do is go to the y equals menu and type in our function. And then we're going to need to adjust our windows. So if you reset your calculator, it will go from -10 to 10, both on the x and the y. But here I actually reset my window to keep the x at -10 to 10. But before I change this y min and max, the bottom and the top of the graph were cut off. So I changed that to -80 and 80. You can just guess and check until you get a window that fits. So now my window fits, and we're trying to find the relative max and min. The relative max is going to be this point up here. The relative min is going to be this point down here. So in order to find those exact points, we need to hit second calc maximum. And it's going to ask for left bound, so we're going to go to the left of the minimum and hit, or maximum, sorry, and hit enter. The right side and hit enter, and then guess. And if you can see up here, these two little arrows are framing. So they're finding that relative area that we're looking at. And then guess where it is. And we get it at -2.001, which is actually just -2 with some rounding error. And y of 64. So we can write that as a coordinate point of -2, 64. If it's asking for the max value, the max value would be y equals 64. So that's how high it is. The minimum value, we also need to calc, so we're going to hit second minimum. Go all the way down here. Left is now above. So you hit left bound, enter, right bound, enter. And see again, my arrows frame that small area that we're telling the calculator to look in. And here we get 1.999 and -64, which would again be a maximum or a rounding error. So it would be 2 -64. So this is our max. This is our min. And if it asks for the max and min values, it'd be +64 and -64. This graph happens to be symmetric, but that will not always be the case. Also, it won't always be that you can just flip the signs here. It also won't always be the case that there are only 2 turns. This function has a degree of 5, so we could get up to 5 turns. But here we only actually have 2, so we just have to find those max and min values for 2 turns. All right, so now we're going to come over here to find this one. This is the answer for the first one. Now we'll look at this graph. So y equals x cubed plus 3x squared minus 24x. And this window actually fits pretty well too, with the exception of the top is a tiny bit cut off. So let's make our y max 100. There you go, that's a little better. And as you can see, this one is not going to be symmetric. So we would have to use our function to find both of these, max and min, and it's not going to be just the opposite. It will be 2 different numbers.